In previous videos, I've compared Real PlayStation Portable hardware to the PPSSPP emulator on Windows or Mac platforms. In each episode, I've upscaled the PlayStation Portable graphics in PPSSPP to see how much better the graphics and video outputs can be, along with potential frame rate performance increases over real hardware. Now, it's 2024, and since my last look at these two platforms was over 2 years ago, I wanted to make an updated version for those interested in the emulator. That means my trusty PlayStation Portable 2000 is ready to do battle once again. For this video, the PSP is using the Sony official component cables for the system, which is then fed into the OSSC at 480p line 2x for a 960p output. I also selected 16:9 aspect ratio for all games. Sadly, PlayStation Portable software is known to display in a small window when outputting in 480p. This meant I had to scale up the footage to be full screen. It's not ideal, but the Line 2x mode mitigates some of the drawbacks. As for PPSSPP, well, since I'm using the 2021 MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro chip, an 8x upscale is a must, or simply 4K output in English. Here's all of the other features I used on screen. The one difference this time is I used the Auto Max quality setting for texture filtering. Will this affect the look of the games? I played 30 games for this video. Yes, I do recommend you grab your favourite food and drink for this adventure. On a final note, the version used today was version 1.17.1. Let's begin. Get the turbochargers ready? It's Ridge Racer 2. We start with this great racing game and well, look at it. The game is gorgeous to behold. Yes, the texture work is somewhat suspect sometimes, especially on the vehicles, but come on, this looks fantastic for the platform. A lot of fun too. How does it fare on PPSSPP then? I'll show you. The difference is pretty startling. The biggest difference is the track itself. The appearance is extremely detailed and texture settings have helped out with the massive level of upscaling used. However, I can't say the same for the vehicle. Yes, it is more detailed, but the texture work is muddy looking compared to the track details, sticking out like a sore thumb. Despite the shortcomings, Ridge Racer 2 is a success story for PPSSPP. Here's a Japanese exclusive game called Xross Impact. Amazingly, it is a beat-em-up similar in vein to Streets of Rage and Final Fight. Graphically, the mixture of 2D sprites and 3D backgrounds works surprisingly well, and I love the animation on display. The game isn't the deepest experience on PSP, but the simple yet fun gameplay makes this worth a look if you enjoy games in this style. PPSSPP is here now, and the differences are not as dramatic as one would expect. Again, the dithering is gone, the 3D backgrounds are improved, but the 2D sprites don't look dramatically different compared to the PlayStation Portable proper. Sadly, trying to upscale 2D sprite graphics still has drawbacks in 2024. That being said, the game still looks pretty good to my eye despite this lack of an upscale on the sprite graphics. Next up, Wipeout Pulse. I love testing this game because it really made Wipeout a force to be reckoned with. Thanks to the 3D graphics, good frame rate and good controls, this experience shines on the PlayStation Portable. It's a great racing game to play. PPSSPP makes the graphics look even better. Look at the two side by side, the emulator really is taking this experience to the next level. The frame rate seems smoother too. Wipeout Pulse is yet another success story thanks to the features the emulator offers. Here's a big one. The second God of War game pushes the PlayStation Portable to the limit. You can tell because not only is the game graphically excellent, it slows down a lot during big battle scenes. I'm also sure there's screen tearing, which did surprise me. I guess it was hard to spot on the small screen instead of blowing it up on an external display. I also can't forget about this analog nub too. I hated it in 2007 and I still hate it now. How about PPSSPP? Well, transformative comes to mind. The visuals have jumped up massively compared to the PlayStation Portable, and of course the frame rate is now a solid 60 frames per second. It's the controls where PPSSPP shines. I'm using my DualSense controller for all the games tested, and just using a proper analog stick along with holding a more comfortable controller makes this game so much more playable to me. I still recommend you play this game even on PSP, but if you do try it with these settings on PPSSPP, it's simply incredible. Let's try Flatout head on. This is a port of Flatout Ultimate Destruction, which was an enhanced version of the beloved Flatout 2, one of my favourite racing games ever. I was looking forward to playing this, but the port is too stripped back to be fully enjoyable. The graphics are far too blurry and dark thanks to the simplified lighting model, and the damage model, one of the shining elements of the Flatout series, is also pared back with less detailed deformation of the car models. The soundtrack is not as good either, just disappointing all around. PPSSPP does go a long way in improving the graphics, and a lot of the lower grade visuals are breathed new life thanks to the enhancements on offer. However, during gameplay on emulation, the music kept skipping to a new song every few seconds. As you can imagine, this became grating very quickly. Hopefully, this can be fixed in the future. Let's try a 2D game, and Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus was my first choice. Using the training mode, here's the PSP. And now, here's PPSSPP. The graphics are certainly a bit clearer to my eye, and some of the hard to spot details on PSP are much more discernible when given a big upscale on PPSSPP. The big difference actually were the HUD elements on the two platforms. The texts, picture icons and other HUD graphics see significant upgrades on emulation. Not bad. Moving on to Soulcalibur Broken Destiny. As you can see, the two platforms look completely different when viewed side by side. The emulator really shines here, and this is without doubt the best I've ever seen this game look. The higher internal resolution boost does reveal some nasty texture work at times, but PPSSPP is absolutely great for making this look a lot better than on PSP. Mind you, even on PlayStation Portable, this title remains playable. Don't skip it. Outrun 2006 is a very good port of the arcade and console classic. Unlike Flatout Head-On, this really does a great job showcasing the PSP's power while remaining completely playable. The frame rate does sit at 30 more often than 60, but it is not the end of the world as the game feels good to play. Naturally, pair this with PPSSPP and, well, the visuals get a massive upgrade. What more do I need to say? Oh, and the frame rate sits at 60 frames per second a lot more often. It's almost flawless. Next up, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. I have the PlayStation 2 version and the PSP port holds up very well. It looks good, plays well, and has a smattering of features the PlayStation 2 version didn't include. Could this be the best non-high definition version of the game? Anyhow, PPSSPP steps in and improves the game's graphics big time. It's pretty much a night and day difference. The frame rate has seen a doubling of a hard-locked 30 to 60. All around, the PPSSPP improvements are a big win here. The PSP version of Gran Turismo is next. At this point, I think you folks can see the differences between the two platforms. The game looks stunning on the PlayStation Portable, and offering 60 frames per second is proof that the developer knew how to get the best out of the system. PPSSPP improves everything to the point that the game has transformed. As expected, limitations in the texture work can be seen as I drive around the track, but it is still a great way to experience this title. Let's see how Call of Duty Road to Victory fares on both platforms. This first-person shooter game has a big problem: the controls. Simply put, the PSP does not have enough buttons to make this game truly work. The analog nub is horrendous here, and lacking dual analog sticks really hampers gameplay. It is a shame because otherwise the game looks great and sounds solid. A good game was here, but the controls spoil everything, making it very hard to recommend. When I first tried to emulate the game on PPSSPP, the screen had this strange glitchy artifact all across the screen. The game was also running slower than expected. I fixed the slowdown by changing the rendering mode to OpenGL, but I still had the visual artifact on screen. After some fiddling, it turns out the game doesn't work too well at 8x upscaling. When I went down a notch to 7x, the game finally worked. With that sorted, the game does look much better, and the single proper analog stick offered by the DualSense controller made the experience much more playable, albeit with a compromise, since this was not made with an external controller in mind. I don't think this game has aged well, and I find it hard to recommend playing it unless you can somehow get the second analog stick to function somehow. I tested many more games for this video, so refill your drinks, order more food, and sit down for the upcoming montage. Also, listen to the sound quality of the two platforms. Which one is best? I'll see you folks at the end.
ハウンド3、設置確認。周囲に異常なし。
部隊前方に熱源トラック数機およそ250、想定以上の数です。
各隊に点検、作戦に変更なし、速やかに応戦せよ。グリフォンに敵を近づけるな。監視隊が間もなく到着の予定だ。ハウンド2、合流地点の確保を急いでくれ。
了解。敵対空兵器の破壊を優先します。
You win. Round 2. Fight.
Speed up. Speed up.
Don't slow us down now. Let's go.
All units, increase to engage. Shoot down all unknown aircraft. All Allied units in Sparta. All crew, disengage. This is report on our main squad. Where did any hostiles go? Let's finish this.
Reinforcements approaching.
Just a little warm-up before the main event. Just a little warm-up before the main event. I've been hit! He's all over me!
Enemy disabled.
You think I can't dodge that?
Target hit.
Don't let those Goombas cramp your style!
I told you guys to lay off the cannolis! You are one cool cucumber for a cop. Revenge is a dish best served cold. dish best served cold. I'll send you a postcard from Hawaii.
Leone's plane is about to take off. You've got 2 minutes to get him there. Put the pedal to the metal.
Call this the...
ドロー。手札から永続魔法よ。私に力を貸して。モンスターを攻撃表示で召喚よ。行くわよ。モンスターを攻撃表示で召喚。モンスター効果発動。私を守ってクリボン。カードをセット。ターンエンド。 やるぞ。俺のターン。ドロー。いくぞ。リフォーマービデオ。
It appears there's a guard in front of you. Use the thickets to conceal yourself. Go ahead and hide in the closer thicket on the left. You can see there is an enemy in your path. It is too dangerous to charge on straight ahead. You could use the shadows by the wall on the left to sneak around behind him.
There's no doubt about it. This is the most thorough testing for PPSSPP against real PlayStation Portable hardware that I've ever done. With 30 games tested, I really wanted to show a good variety of games to see how well PPSSPP has come along. Using the auto max texture settings in my experience was the best choice for getting the games to look their best despite the extreme upscale used. PPSSPP does indeed offer a slew of advantages over real hardware. From graphics, frame rate boosts and improved controls from your favourite device, along with great optimizations for the platform, this is the go-to way of experiencing PlayStation Portable games in 2024. That doesn't mean you should abandon the PlayStation Portable though. This plucky handheld is still incredible in its own right, and if you watch my other videos about it, you'll see why I still recommend buying one to this day. What do you folks think of this video? Would you use PPSSPP for yourself? What settings do you use? Tell me in the comments, and I will see you soon.